Okay, nerds. I know we're all shocked we're in the pool again. And also after like months and months, maybe it's been at least 6 weeks of me saying we're gonna do Cinsault, we're gonna do Cinsault. Guess what? We're gonna do Cinsault. I'm so excited. All right, let's go. And now I am not green screening myself because I made this in Canva and I don't know how. So I know how to use PowerPoint as a background in Zoom. I don't know how to use Canva and I just wasn't going to figure it out. So Cinsault, which is not just a parent of Pinotage. And if you go back and you want to know more about, if you want to know more about Pinotage, you can go back and check out the Ones of Africa video that I think was in April maybe. And I talk a good deal about Pinotage in that one. So onward. All right. Topics covered. I don't know why some of them are underlined and some of them aren't. Well, whatever. So we will talk about the origins of Cinsault, some geography. We're back to Google Earth, a little bit about Stellenbosch and the grape profile. Then that's pretty much it. We'll do some tasting. Okay, so Cinsault actually originated in Rhone, France, and you can see in this visual that Rhone is kind of cut France into like quarters. It is in the southeast quarter, and that's kind of where we're looking at this grape originating. Okay, and now we take a Google Earth trip. All right, let's Alt-Tab to Google Earth. So we already saw Rhone. One of the other popular places you can find this grape, you can see I already prepped for this, is the Languedoc-Roussillon. We're spinning. Okay, so here we are. Again, we are kind of in the south. I might have said west earlier. For some reason, I mess up west and east a lot, which is a little scary given that I was a navigator on a ship. But anyway, we're in the southeast again, and a lot closer to the ocean, and we are looking at the just above the 43.5 north latitude. So again, with that 30 to 50 range, we're kind of in the middle, but a little bit north. So we're going to be looking at moderation from the sea breezes, but we're going to be a little bit cooler in terms of just latitude. Another popular place for this grape is Provence. And we will see Provence is literally a hop, skip, and a jump, as we don't probably say anymore. And we are looking between the 4330 and the 4430. So pretty much halfway in between those latitudes. Again, we're going to be just above that middle of the 30 to 50. But then we go spinning around the globe. I love doing this in Google Earth. And we're going to go to Itata, Chile, where this grape is really coming into popularity. So we're looking at small growers who are just kind of like thriving with this grape as a single varietal. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Now you can see here, if we're looking at kind of like flip-flopping the mirror images, now we're at 36 south. So we are definitely, we're halfway between the thirds. That's a terrible way to describe it. If 40 is the half, we are now warmer than the 40. Now, if I recall correctly, reading a little bit about, I think it's Itata, it could be, I don't know, pronounced some other way. I believe they make excellent use of the altitude. So they probably have some mountains here, probably making good use of cooler altitudes, maybe a little bit of the morning fog. The vintners here really know what they're doing. So now let's go back to the slideshow. All right, so we took our Google Earth trip. I'm really impressed this stayed in a full screen presentation, to be honest. All right, so this is what we were talking about, other areas and how Cinsault expresses in those areas. So in the Languedoc-Roussillon, when it is blended, it gives you these kind of like nice crisp cranberry notes, and it is frequently blended. When it's not blended, it's usually a rosé, and sometimes it's even blended as a rosé. This is a single varietal. The picture that I have is a single varietal Cinsault rosé, and the credit for the picture goes to Gusti and Company Wines. Go check out, they've got some good wines. Then I have, for Provence, I actually found an image of a single varietal Cinsault, which is really exciting because it usually, again, is blended or used in some pretty spectacular rosés. Somehow I didn't include what it brings here, so that was kind of silly. But it's going to be like a little bit of cranberry, maybe some cherry. Sometimes it even brings like a slight smokiness to the blend. And then this picture came from what does that say? Flaconcave.com. You can translate it into English. I don't even need these. You can translate it into English if you want, otherwise it's going to be in French. And then last, of course, we have Chile. And I don't actually know how it expresses in Chile because this is kind of a newer thing for them. So obviously we're just going to have to try some. Aldo Sam recommends Pedro Parra, who I started reading up about him. He was actually born in Itata. So it makes sense that he is very into making wines with this grape. And this picture, I didn't have enough room. This just came from Vivino. Thanks, Vivino. But now let's talk about Stellenbosch. And if you understand the let's talk about you and me and all the good wines, shout out to you. Okay, we will look at this picture and then we'll go back to Google Earth. So again, if you look at the African blends video, you kind of see I mentioned that Stellenbosch is a district in the coastal region, and I gave the date. Good for me. April 8th is when that video came up, and you can learn a little bit more about the African wine laws, and kind of like the districts, the regions, and the wards. So if you squint and blink a little, you can see Stellenbosch on this picture. I don't know if I can move me. Nah, that's gonna be too much effort. If you see where Cape Town is, and then you see Stellenbosch, and there's some red dots, that's the outline of Stellenbosch. I zoomed pretty far out so you could kind of see where it was, which was a little bit ridiculous because we're gonna go to Google Earth. So let's go back to... It's probably in my recent searches because I just went there. All right, so we're gonna zoom out and zoom around the globe again. And now we are at an even warmer, technically, latitude. So we're at the 33, in between, it's right around 33 and a half latitude south. So this could be a much warmer expression. Maybe the fruits are going to be a little bit bolder. This is the one that we have and we're drinking today. Although I do also have a rosé, which I'm really excited about. So we're doing double dipping here. So when we try it, I guess we'll see if this one if it feels warmer, if it tastes like a warmer climate. So ridiculous. Okay. Now we go on to talk about what are we expecting with this wine. So pretty much entirely primary flavors, except maybe the smokiness. So we've got some floral. We're expecting violet, which my partner and I are really excited about because in the Nez du Vin kit, we both smelled violet and we're like, wow, that's really strong. So I'm going to be curious how this wine expresses, and later tonight we'll probably smell it and taste it, and I'll put in the comments, or again, the video description, kind of how that little experiment went for us. Then we're expecting red fruit. I kind of mentioned this: cherry, strawberry, red currant, raspberry. Nowhere could I find on a single varietal that anyone listed cranberry, but almost always when I was looking at blends, they mentioned cranberry. So I'm very intrigued if it's something about the blending process that brings out that more tartness, which is what I think of when I think of cranberries. Somehow the wines interacting, which of course is one of the reasons wine is so cool. When you blend it, you get all these new flavors and profiles, and it's just fascinating. Then definitely a lot of spices. So we're looking at both baking and mulling spices, which are different. And then pretty much everything mentioned pepper. And then finally, the miscellaneous that I talked about and referenced is the black tea and the smokiness. In terms of if we were describing it on the WSET SAT, should have got low because this grape is low acid, low tannin, low alcohol, low body. So I'm excited to pour it. I did double decant it because I didn't have time to full decant it because I kind of, whatever, it's been a day. And I didn't really look, but I think it was a pretty pale ruby still, but we'll see when we get to the glass. Then insert a parting or call to action message here. Oh my god, I didn't actually finish the slides. Just pretend it's not there. We'll just move me, and you can pretend that that's not there. So thank you for joining me as we're finally getting to Cinsault. We're gonna go. This is the part that I always edit out. We're gonna try to get over to the side of the pool. So I'm really struggling right now. So we can actually taste this. Okay, we made it safely to the side of the pool. Yes, so the call to action is probably follow and subscribe. I like that, especially since we're about to do the tasting, and I know some of you probably tune out at the tasting. And then thank you obviously to all of you for your patience while I totally didn't ever keep the time schedule with the sound, so I just kept delaying it. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks everyone who watches the channel. Thanks everyone who supports this, and definitely shout out to my partner who spotted the rosé that we're gonna drink. So back to just chilling and chatting. I guess I can't chill and chat. Oh, I have to stop the share. Oh, London, my goodness. Okay, so just back a little, pour these wines for you. I brought them out. We're going to talk a little bit also about flash chilling. So this is an insulated bottle because it is 9 gajillion degrees out. That's what the weatherman said. I'm kidding. He didn't say that. So get that one out. Get this one out first. Flash chilling is when you kind of like expedite the chilling process. It's basically exactly what it sounds like. And I did it with this rosé by getting a paper towel wet and then sticking it in the freezer for like 20 minutes. Flash chilling is not recommended. It can mess up the flavor profiles. Definitely don't do it with an expensive wine because like you're just gonna really wreck that wine. So quick chemistry, right? Things that are colder, the molecules are moving slower. Things that are warmer, the molecules are moving faster. And when you just like absolutely crush those molecules and you're like, stop, pause, no more moving, it just kind of messes up some of the aromatics and a lot of the flavor profile. So I did flash chill this. It was like $9. So I'm not super concerned, but let's go with our tastings. It's like, gonna fall over here. All right, so this is Radford Dale Cinsault 2019, Stellenbosch, South Africa. Hoping we'll get some nice colors presented here. Just pouring it on my deck, that's fine. Ooh, yeah, that is pale. Ooh, that's probably one of the paler rubies I have seen. And it's got some tinges of orange, which is really interesting to me. The glass is getting rife with condensation. Okay, let's see what we're getting on the nose. What is that? I know what that smell is. That might be the violet. I was like, what is that? I think that's the violet. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm definitely gonna keep you all posted on the tasting and the sniffing tonight. But anyway, all right, I have to get past the violet. When I took my intro to CMS, they were like, sometimes you have to take it and like physically be like, no more violet to get past the scents that are kind of overwhelming. And that happens a lot for me with Sauv Blancs that have a very prominent petrol smell. I have to literally like think about taking the petrol and throwing it to the side before I can get to any of the fruits. I know it sounds a little like woo-woo, but I mean, we also smell our wrists to reset our nose. So wine people is weird. I'm not getting cherry, but I'm getting strawberry for sure. That violet is, I'm trying to throw it away. Oh, man. Oh, I do get the black tea also, which is funny because black tea is usually like, well, black tea itself has tannins. So that didn't make sense. Whatever. Okay, let's just taste this. Mm. The spices really come out as I'm aerating it in my mouth. Like that. I was actually a little, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was a little nervous. I really like that. Definitely mulling spices. Not gonna, low acid. I'm salivating a lot. Oh, but it goes away pretty quickly. Okay. Initial salivation, a lot, stops immediately. So low acid. I might give it a medium minus acid, to be honest. Yeah, if I were doing this on a test, I would probably give it a medium minus. We can talk about WSET stuff a different time. If any of you are interested in taking WSET, hit me up, let me know, we'll talk. I'm a fan, honestly. There's less of the violet on the palate, which is nice because that was pretty aggressive on the nose. I could get a little bit of that tartar, like pomegranate cranberry on the palate. Definitely wasn't there on the nose. Strawberry. This is obviously a decent finish because I can still get it a little bit. I just have to do the retronasal breathing mulling spices, a little bit of the black tea. I don't get smokiness. We'll do one last tasting and then we'll go with the rosé, I promise. I feel like I could go back and forth on whether that's the black tea or the smokiness, to be perfectly honest. Okay, so now unveiling this wildly expensive, just kidding, a detective, which is cute. Oh, you guys can't see. It's fine. These weren't extremely pricey wine glasses that I got for cheap. So this, yeah, detective brand, 100% Cinsault. It's an IGP paid off. It's not, there's nothing special. We don't really know exactly where it came from. I also meant to say at the beginning and totally forgot, sometimes you will see it without the L. And also sometimes in Africa it's called Hermitage, which is really confusing because of the Hermitage in France. It's not related. Man, I missed a lot of things on this video. Okay, now this is, because you usually should drink your rosés before you drink your reds. This is like a fake, I'm not gonna try to pour this in the bottle again. Hopefully it'll kill some of the weeds. Okay, here we go. This one you can kind of already see the color because of course it's in the bottle, but as you have less of it, obviously it gets lighter. So I would give the, oh, that's also very pale. That's practically water. If you guys get this, definitely, and I'm sorry I say you guys, I know technically that is gendering, but I'm working on it and I really use it for everyone. I'll get better. Anyway, if all y'all's yins get this, definitely tilt it on its side because it's basically transparent. I'll give this one a sniff. That just smells like strawberries. Okay. I wouldn't give it a violet, but I would give it a blossom. And I'm not sure which blossom. Maybe violet blossom. Maybe I need to go smell some violet blossoms. Maybe I'll make a gardening center trip later. And then like a combined watermelon raspberry. Like watermelon doesn't to me have a very prominent flavor unless you're having like the candied version. But if you took watermelon and you mushed it up with some raspberries, it would be this because I definitely get a hint of the watermelon, but a little more raspberry. And then I think it's, excuse me, I think it's still a little bit of that black tea. Almost feels slightly presented, which is weird. And it tastes peachy. That's really confusing. Let me try that again. That's a little better. I think I needed to like reset my palate a little bit. It's like the LaCroix of strawberry. Like if you thought about strawberries really hard and then you drank some water, which isn't to say it's bad. It's just I want to emphasize how light it is, which I actually think is great in rosés. But I would also say I've explained to my partner that a lot of the rosé we had when I was in France was basically like it was so light in flavor that you could have just had it in lieu of water and you would have still felt refreshed and hydrated. This is definitely more pronounced than that. Like that's losing it at the door. Like I wouldn't actually give this I would give this like a medium minus for the intensity, to be honest. Because I don't have to stick my nose all the way in it to smell it. That's kind of like the gauge I use. Let's do this one more time. It's almost like another berry. Maybe it's a bramble. We're gonna cheat. We're gonna read the back of the bottle. All right, the back of the back of the bottle says, all right, sunny pale pink is not an official color. Let's calm down with that. Nose, amazing black currant and strawberry. You know what? I could see that. Splash water everywhere. I could totally see that. Black currant and strawberry. Maybe the currant is a little bit of what I'm getting on the palate also. And then refreshing and fruity. Okay. They also give a pairing recommendation, which I kind of love. So they say all Mediterranean dishes, definitely. I could also see a salad niçoise if you've ever had one. Poultry and aperitif, wonderful. Okay, I would recommend this one too, honestly. I struggle with rosés because a lot of them give me this weird like bitterness. I think it's specifically the ones that are made with Royo. I really do think I'm just not a big Royo fan, but this one is delightful. More potent than a lot of your rosés that are very light. But still I could easily like keep this chilled and drink it in the pool and it would be wonderful. I would also have to recommend Cinsault as a summer red because it is so light. So if you are like a die hard, I won't drink whites. First of all, I'm going to change your mind. Second, I would recommend Cinsault for your summer red because it is so light and low and everything. It does have all of those fruit notes. Okay, that's it. I'm so glad that everyone stuck with me through all of the delays and through 2 tastings. If you made it this far, you probably have a better attention span than I do. Maybe you broke it up. And I will try to include anything that I forgot in the description of the video because I feel like there are definitely a couple things I forgot. I have literally no idea what next week's video is supposed to be. I didn't look at my planner before I made this video, so it'll be a surprise for both of us. And I will see you next week. Cheers.